begin with the story of a missing mom in Northern Virginia. The months-long search for Mamta Kafle has come up empty. She's a pediatric nurse with a 1-year-old baby, but cops think they know what happened to her. It was supposed to be the start of a new life for Naresh and Mamta Bhatt. Smiling faces posted on social media in their new Northern Virginia home with their new baby. But just months ago, helicopters and police trekked through the area on a frantic search. The beautiful new mom had gone missing.
If you see something, please say something.
Nowhere to be found.
I'm sick to my stomach. I feel like they're here for a reason.
And the hunt for Mamta has one main question.
Is she alive?
Is she alive or dead?
We don't know.
Friends of Mamta Kafle say it doesn't make sense that the 28-year-old pediatric nurse would suddenly and willingly disappear so close to her daughter's first birthday.
Her former co-workers at the hospital coming together to try and get police to really push for this search for her.
Fox 5 DC reporter Nana Bansu says that Mamta's co-workers questioned why it took nearly a full week for Naresh to report his wife missing.
The first time that we approached Naresh Bhatt, we knocked on the door and we said, "Where's your wife? Where's the last time you've seen her? When did you call police?"
We're looking for Miss Mamta Kafle.
Shown here on police body cam, a welfare check after Mamta didn't show up for work, Naresh saying that his wife left town.
She left and then she says she's gonna go either New York or Texas, and then she left, she had the phone and then she destroyed that phone and then she left.
Bansu says when Naresh stepped in front of cameras, this is what he wanted his wife to hear.
I have only one message for her. If you are anywhere, if you are able to listen this, just, for my baby, you got to be here as soon as possible.
But Nana Bansu says his inconsistent stories to police about her disappearance weren't adding up.
The first time they interviewed Naresh Bhatt, he said she has gone to visit family. And then we find out later, Mamta doesn't have family in the United States. She's from Nepal, and her mom and brother were in Nepal.
Strangely, Naresh held a first birthday party for his daughter at the home while Mamta was missing. Guests at the party felt something was off.
We're told someone who was in that home for the birthday party actually tipped off to police that something was weird in here, and you guys may want to go in again.
2 days later, a neighbor captures this video of Naresh being arrested. Armed with search warrants, investigators find what they say are bloodstains on the carpet in the master bedroom and bathroom, and large pools of blood they believe someone attempted to clean up. According to the police report, it appears as if a body was dragged through the home. Does that mean Mamta is dead?
I don't believe she's still alive.
For now, Naresh is only charged with a single count of concealing a dead body, while investigators work to find evidence that can lead to more charges like murder.
It seems like every week we're hearing about some new search warrants, we're hearing about new evidence.
New evidence like this blue Tesla seen here driven by Naresh that could hopefully lead to Mamta's body.
As we understand, there's some kind of GPS information connected to that Tesla. So we're told Naresh Bhatt actually sold the Tesla back to the dealership a couple days before he was arrested.
Now, with Naresh behind bars and no body to be found, friends and family continue to search, eager to find her and justice.
I'm confident this community is going to be a voice for Mamta.
On one hand, I feel as though this is a really sad thing if we do find her body. But at the end of the day, we need to bring her home to her daughter.
Joining me now is Nana Bansu, who has been covering this story for Fox 5 DC. Thank you for joining us. What do you think is the strategy behind the defense pushing for a trial as quickly as possible?
So right now, the defense has been saying, honestly, since day one, that the Commonwealth prosecution, that their case is not strong enough. So what we've seen the defense of Naresh Bhatt do is they waive their rights to a preliminary hearing, trying to speed it up. And then they also waive their rights to a grand jury hearing, again, trying to speed it up.
It sounds to me, Nana, that they're pushing for an early trial because all the evidence isn't in, so it actually helps the defense.
Exactly. The defense and Naresh Bhatt, they keep saying, look, you got me in jail with no bond for concealing of a dead body. Perfect. But where is that dead body? You know, I've been in here. You guys can't come up with a dead body. You say you have some evidence, but they keep saying the prosecution is weak. And honestly, I don't think the defense thinks the prosecution is going to come up with anything anytime soon.
Nana, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
It is one of the craziest stories I've ever covered. A wife viciously attacked, bleeding profusely. Her husband stabbed in the back. Each of them blamed the other. So who did what to whom? Good question. It was also hopeful in the beginning for Leigh and Brock Orwig.
I thought she was terrific. Smart and pretty, and I mean, I just thought she was just awesome.
When I first saw him, there was a part of me that just said, you know, I knew we would be together.
But nearly 4 years and one child later,
who initiated the divorce?
Brock did.
And the Orwigs just couldn't seem to work it out.
Since the day the divorce started, it's just been the never-ending war.
So it's not entirely surprising that things went wrong one November morning. But as for just how wrong, here's Leigh's side of the story.
I started typing an email on my computer. I was not even halfway through the email when I felt something hit my head. And that was when I got up and I turned around and I looked behind me, and here's this guy wearing a dark knit cap with a blonde wig, dark clothing.
And she says the man hit her head at least 15 more times with what later was found to be a 2x4 in a tube sock.
He dropped the weapon at one point in time, but then he started to go for my throat. And it got to the point where I knew that I just couldn't fight him off anymore.
So Leigh played possum. She says the man then bound her arms and legs before stuffing pills in her mouth and pouring what she believes was alcohol down her throat.
It kind of tasted like vodka. I could hear him in my knife drawer. And then I thought, oh my God, this is it. He's gonna stab me to death.
But instead, she says the man untied her arm, grabbed her left hand, and put her fingertips on the knife handle.
Then he did the same thing with my right hand. At that point in time, he put a blindfold over me. I could hear him grab my keys, and finally, he exited.
That's when Leigh says, with her legs still tied, she jumped up, locked the door, and stumbled to her phone.
911 emergency. I need someone over here right now. I've just been attacked and tried to kill me. Okay, who tried to kill you? I don't know, some guy.
Police arrive shortly after that and find a badly beaten Leigh Orwig covered in blood, and that wasn't all. In the detached garage, detectives find something she definitely did not mention. Her ex-husband, Brock Orwig, face down on the cement floor, a butcher knife sticking out of his back.
I said, huh?
Brock tells an entirely different story.
I know.
Well, how bad was the injury?
Well, they said that she had put the knife in 4.5 or 5.5 inches. Apparently had just missed my aorta or whatever, and it was, anyway, it was horrible.
Brock says Leigh invited him over that morning to patch things up and make amends as co-parents.
I went to her side door. It was open, and I knocked on the door, and then I saw her come to the door. She invited me in.
And as Brock bends over to take off his shoes,
I looked up just as she was swinging something at my head.
that thing was the same 2x4 Leigh claims a mystery man used to attack her.
She's screaming, "You're a dead man. You owe me so much money."
And that's when Brock says he wrestled the 2x4 away from Leigh to defend himself.
It was clear that she wasn't going to stop. and I had to defend myself.
Brock says Leigh made a run for the kitchen to grab a butcher knife, and that's when he had no choice but to swing.
It just made her madder. So I hit her again, and then finally I hit her a third time. Then she was stunned.
Seeing his chance to get away, he grabs Leigh's car keys.
Went back to the service door that I came in, and as soon as I opened it, Leigh was there with the butcher knife. She slashed at me, and I turned to run. I felt this indescribable pain in my back. And then everything went black. I woke up in the hospital sometime later that day.
Two very different versions of what happened. And with two wounded suspects, Edina, Minnesota police had to figure out who to believe. Backing up Brock's claim that Leigh attacked him, detectives find what looked like defensive wounds on his arms, but
each one of those cut marks were superficial in nature, whereas they could be potentially self-induced.
And the jacket Brock was wearing made things more suspicious.
There's no corresponding slices in the jacket sleeve. That he got stabbed in the back, there's no corresponding knife hole in the back of the jacket.
And stuffed inside one of those jacket pockets, a hand-drawn map leading to Leigh's house from where police would eventually find Brock's car. And on the back,
a handwritten list of multiple items that basically I believed were likely used in the commission of this crime.
It was literally what I would call a murder to-do list. The totality of everything we saw told us that the story of Leigh Orwig was correct and the story of Brock was contrived and incorrect.
Brock Orwig is arrested and charged with 3 counts, including first-degree burglary, second-degree assault, and first-degree attempted murder.
You don't really believe that Brock put this knife in his own back, do you?
Yeah, I do.
But doesn't that sound crazy, Leigh?
Yeah, but Brock is crazy. Sorry, but he is.
Despite being found face down with a butcher knife in his back, Edina, Minnesota police believe Brock Orwig came to his wife Leigh's house with murder on his mind. And when police searched Brock's house, they found wood matching the 2x4 used in the attack, the other tube sock matching the one on the 2x4, and even rope matching the ones Leigh says Brock used to bind her. And yet the prosecution's handwriting expert couldn't conclusively say that the map and the kill list was written by Brock. And if he didn't write it...
She had forged my name before? Yes, she had.
She, as in Leigh.
He says you wrote them and put them in his pockets.
I must have forgotten to leave my DNA on them.
It didn't have anyone's DNA on it.
Nor is any of Leigh's DNA on the knife found in Brock's back.
Now, keep in mind, I'm oozing blood all over the place. There is no blood trail from my side door to the garage because I wasn't following him. None of my blood is in the garage. It's all Brock's.
But even a bigger question, how did the knife even land in his back? Wait for it. Investigators say Brock backed himself into it, stabbing himself to frame Leigh.
The police say that you took the knife and you stuck it in the wedge of the toboggan and that you basically stabbed yourself in the back.
That was their theory.
Did you?
No. No.
You'd have to be like in Cirque du Soleil to pull off something like that.
I only know what happened to me that day.
It would be up to a jury to get to the bottom of it.
Then how do you think the knife got in Brock's back?
Leigh stabbed him.
According to jury foreman Bob Brochat, the knife in Brock's back happened just the way he told police. But that didn't mean that the rest of Leigh's story was false. It meant the jury believed both were lying about something.
The evidence was all over the board. It was just a lot of misinformation that was being thrown our way.
Even judges looking at the case were confused, saying, at oral argument, neither party's attorney could offer any story logically consistent with the physical evidence. And after days of going over the evidence and nearly deadlocking, Bob and the rest of the jury came to this conclusion. Brock Orwig is found not guilty of premeditated first-degree attempted murder.
And the jury was unanimous on that.
Unanimous on that, right, right.
So you believe Brock was indeed invited to the house?
Correct. The whole jury thought that he was attacked when he walked into the house.
Minnesota prosecutors never charged Leigh, and even though the jury found Brock innocent of first-degree attempted murder, he wasn't exactly off the hook. On the lesser charge of second-degree assault, it was guilty.
Because of the severity of the head wounds that Leigh sustained, we had to do something here.
Brock Orwig was sentenced to 3 years behind bars, ultimately serving 2. Now, out on parole, Brock says he is just trying to put the whole thing behind him.
There's no question she set me up. But I've moved on. I've forgiven her. I don't want to be defined by that event as, oh, you're the guy who got stabbed by his ex-wife and then got to go to prison.
Yet Brock says you're the one who got away with attempted murder.
All I did that morning was survive. That's all I did. That's it.